What's up, guys? This is Corey Baker from Baker Forge and Tool. In my business, we do tons of heavy grinding every single day, and we needed a grinder that could take abuse and keep on trucking without slowing down billet production. The Ameribraid variable speed 2x72 is just that. All heavy-duty parts and framing with well-thought-out accessories that are easy to use and not bogged down with lots of tiny parts. By far, the best accessory item that Ameribraid sells is their surface grinding attachment. It is absolutely foolproof and the best in the industry. With quick-release magnet system, there is no prying your workpiece off the platen. Very fast to slap a billet or a knife onto the table, engage magnets, and start surfacing with precise increments. On top of all of this, their customer support is outstanding. Eric and Kevin are always available and fast to help with any situation. If you're in the market for a top-of-the-line grinder, or maybe just an accessory to add to your existing setup, go to Ameribraid.com and use the code HUSTLE100 for $100 off any grinder package. All right, next up, the Hustle and Grind Podcast.
What's up, everybody? We're back again. We are gluttons for punishment with these heavy guest episodes, and this week is no exception. We've got a whole slew of the boys from Baker Forge and Tool on. We got Coy, Will, Cole, not like the stone, Jay, and Colton. Did I say that right? Waylon. Fuck. Damn it.
It's close enough.
Damn. How's it going, guys?
Right out of the bat.
Yeah.
And Noah. Noah's here too.
Well, we're doing great, man. Thanks for having us on the show. We've, of course, never done a podcast.
Yeah, thanks
with
for
this many
coming
people,
on.
So this will be interesting.
Noah is really good about directing traffic, so hopefully this episode is no exception. We did it a different way this time. In the Post-Blade show we did, it was all remote, so 7 different guys from different places. The 5 of you are sharing a microphone in one room, so shouldn't
I
run
imagine
into
7
the issues
tracks
we
of
did
audio to sync up was not fun.
Yeah, and Zencastr only allows 6, and then it randomly chose who was the one that left out of post-production. So the show is in 3 segments, and then the first one they left out Neil Warren, the second one they left out Dustin O'Hara, and then the third one they left out Micah Dunn.
That's funny.
Yep.
All right, well, let's start it off nice and easy here. Let's just kind of go around. I myself, obviously, everybody who follows Baker Forge and Tool, we know who Coy is, and you guys do a really great job on your reels and your social media of getting all the guys' faces out there with your fun videos that are kind of talking about favorite this, favorite that, all the different kinds of random stuff, but we don't really get an opportunity to really meet the guys that work there. So if you don't mind, let's just kind of go around and have everybody just kind of introduce themselves and just kind of say what they do as their kind of primary job at working at Baker Forge and Tool. Coy, we've already kind of figured out who you are. So Will, let's hear from you, man. Okay. Why don't you let's do that.
Right.
Coy, you go ahead and
Coy
warm us
Baker,
up,
CEO and founder of Baker Forge. And of course, I just run all day-to-day operations of everything, mostly from the office these days. But these guys work for me. This is a good smattering of the crew. We've got the film guy, an editor. We've got blacksmiths. We got managing partners. So, we kind of got a good slew of everybody here. I guess we'll just kick things off then with Will here. Go ahead, Will.
I usually start out when in the morning we unload the furnace, and there's usually stuff that needs to be ground with the right angle grinder, and knocking scale off or knocking off the patterning before it goes to the 2x72, and then wait on the furnace to get warm and start forging and grinding edges and
So Will's a blacksmith full time with us, and what did you start? You started in December, right?
In December, yep.
So he's one of the newer hires, newer full time hires. We've got some newer part time guys, but Will's been with us since December,
right?
And head full time blacksmith. So Cole,
very cool.
Do a little bit of everything, mostly just fixing the shit that I break.
Yeah,
he's good at that.
Yeah, so you're kind of our resident mechanic, machine mechanic. Really, kind of the head of all blacksmithing in the shop. Cole oversees most of that and is a part of all those forging processes, but also really spearheads fixing machines because in a shop environment like this, we break a lot of crap. And Cole has actually a pretty decent background in machining and that industry.
Yeah,
really.
I've been working around machines since high school, and fabricating, making shit, and fixing shit.
And breaking shit.
Oh, a lot of breaking shit. Mostly breaking shit.
So when we break
Otherwise, I
something,
wouldn't have shit to fix.
that's right. So when we break something,
Yeah.
oh,
Job
goodness.
security, man.
He's the math guy too. He can crunch numbers real well.
Yeah,
He can do it all in his head. Easy peasy for him.
Yeah, ratios, all that sort of stuff for layers. Because we gotta when we're building a billet and a layout, we've got to get ratios correct in order for certain patterns to develop properly and the core material to stay at a certain thickness in the final bar, so that there's no copper on the edge, stuff like that. So, yeah, Jay, you can take it.
So I'm the
Very
shop
cool.
manager. So I'm pretty much responsible for everything that happens in the shop. Just overseeing all the billet production, making sure everything's following the schedule the koi makes. We're not falling behind or anything. Keeping the guys in line.
Hey, Jay's also my brother, so there's a
Yeah.
blood relation there for anybody who didn't know. He's my baby brother.
I kind of figured it, but it wasn't said, so I wasn't sure.
And then we got Waylon.
So I do pretty much all of the social media stuff, the videos and a lot of the photos, and all of the studio stuff usually falls on me. So
Yeah, Waylon's he started out as kind of a do-it-all with the shop. Brought him in part-time to do a little bit of photo, a little video, a little bit of actual grinding. He actually worked in the shop for a while when he started getting his hands dirty and all of the processes. But then kind of as things really started to expand, he quickly moved into just doing the editing in the studio work. So all the video editing, photos, social media stuff, shipping, packing. He does a bunch of the packing. So he's kind of the do-it-all in the office and my right-hand man in the office. So, yeah. So that's everybody.
Nice.
Very cool, very cool. So for pretty much all the content that we see either on Instagram or the YouTube stuff, that's all pretty
Is,
much
yep.
your handiwork then?
And has been for last year now?
a little
Hell of
over
a
a year
job.
now. Yep.
Yeah, it took a huge burden off me having to manage all that and keep track of everything there. And it's already just the studio side of things is already more than a full-time job. He stays full-time with it, and I have to actually step in and help still from time to time just because the workload's kind of large with that. So
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
it's-
I mean, oh, go ahead, Ryan.
It's not just what you guys do in the shop either. You guys photograph knives for other makers too, don't you? People send you knives
Yeah,
for
we
your
do.
photography.
That's the Baker Forge Studio section. So
yeah, so we've started, and we haven't officially
Yeah,
launched
yeah.
Baker Forge Studios, partly because we've been so busy and didn't want to take on a whole bunch more workload. But that is something that's in development, and that will be for any knife maker, even if they don't use our steel, is studio services for photos and video work, reels, captions, hashtag. Like we will end up dealing with all of that for makers in the maker industry once that's launched. But it kind of took a little bit of a back seat because we're looking at actually moving shops right now. We're trying to acquire a new building. That's just taken up a lot of our extra time. So
Nice. You do a fantastic job, man, because we've talked in the past about how what you've done for Koi and Baker Forge and Tool is like even us small guys need that. We need, because guys like me and Noah, single man run units are just, we're doing everything, the social media, the making, the selling, all the shit. And it has shown us that there is value in hiring somebody to do the social media for us. Because I don't know if you see my pictures, but they do not look good. It is not. professional quality photography done on my Samsung
Well, and
phone.
I used to think I did a halfway decent job
Awesome work.
with Baker Forge Media stuff. But once he came on and started doing it, I was like, oh, wow. I was in the Stone Age with my photos. So, yeah, he's been a big help. And that's part of what we're hoping Baker Forge Studios will be eventually, is really helping makers, especially one-guy shops, who need to spend more time focusing on making knives or whatever they're producing, and being able to outsource a little bit of the content work to somebody who's very proficient and quick at it, and also doing it in such a way that it's very affordable for a maker to do. So, because, the more we grow the knife making industry, the more we help grow ourselves, really, because we are supported by the knife making community.
For sure.
Absolutely,
Rising tide
man.
lifts all ships. We wanted to bring everybody on because it's a very unusual job to make Damascus and Makume all day long. Like, it's not, you don't run into a guy at the grocery store. Oh, what do you do, man? Oh, I make Damascus, whatever. No big deal. So we want to talk about kind of, how did you guys fall into this? Because you don't just go to school to make, world quality Damascus. It's like what kind of backgrounds did you have that led you to be where you are working with Coy now?
Who wants to start off?
Well, I'll start off, I guess. I'm his brother, so as he started it, I just kind of followed for one. But
Yeah, Jay was working in the shop on the weekends
yeah,
in the early days, helping us or helping me get steel made as demand was growing, just in a single car garage. Jay would come out on the weekends and some nights during the week and actually help do that. And Jay doesn't come from a background of smithing.
no,
He
I used
just-
to paint.
Yeah, he used to
I was a
paint.
painter.
Well, I think we've mentioned on a previous podcast that I had a residential painting company
Yeah,
as well. That was a
you're-
family-run paint company, and Jay was part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so I think Cole has the
Yeah,
biggest background.
So I went to college. That's the funny thing is, a lot of people go to college and get their degrees, and then they never work in that field. I went and got a 2-year degree in mechanical applied engineering, focusing on machining and maintenance. And then I got a job at Winkler Knives. And it wound up being basically a degree to do my job, because it was fabrication, grinding, fixing stuff. And then I always liked knives. I'd made a couple before I even started working there. And I grew that love, and then I wasn't there anymore. And my cousin actually seen a ad that he was looking for help. So I called him, and then my buddy Josh, who shares the shop, told him that he'd be an idiot if he didn't hire me. And it all worked out. But I'm probably as close to having a degree to do this kind of stuff as you're going to get.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, I didn't forge in school or anything, but all the ancillary stuff that goes around that is in my wheelhouse, and I enjoy doing it, and I'm kind of good at it.
It fit in really well with what we do. It really did. To have someone with the mechanical mind that he's got for the machinery is a huge, huge help. And then, of course, he's also good at beating steel under a power hammer. So,
Yeah, see, I just have no regard for myself, so I'll go. And I realized the other day I look like a fucking junkie. There's arms and shit, but I just don't mind it. It's fucking burn. Who cares?
yeah. And I mean, of course, these guys just finished up a 8-hour shift. That's why these guys
About
all
that.
have a skin tone that is a lot darker than me and Waylon.
I believe that's called
Yeah.
the Chilean miner coming
Yeah.
out of the coal
And then-
mine.
Will here, he actually he runs a bit of a side business making knives as well. Just give him your background.
Well, I was in Alaska and building skis and snowboards, and working in the ski industry. And just got burned out on just working, making. I mean, I enjoyed making skis and snowboards, but I wasn't ever skiing and snowboarding. And then a knife maker in Alaska, in Homer, Maynard Linder, Dancing Man Knives and Ulus, needed some help and knew that I was good at working with tools and fabricating stuff. And so he hired me on, and then making stock removal knives out of recycled steel, mostly old saw blades and big crosscut saws and stuff. And then I got into forging my own knives on the side, and was able to use his shop to grind them and everything, and so started my own thing. And then about a year ago, I moved back to North Carolina, where I've lived before, and got a job at a restaurant, and wasn't just because I needed something right away, but wasn't super happy with that. And then I pestered Coy enough to I seen all the work they were doing, and wanted to get back in this sort of industry. And I pestered Coy and went out to the shop. He gave me a tour, and went out there a few times, and finally called me and said he had a job for me, and yeah, that's where
Rest
we
is
are.
history.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
I love it.
you weren't pestering. I mean, I feel like there was one email.
I'm just trying to make it the story good. I'm just trying to make the story good.
I feel like there was one email, and then I was like, "Yeah, do you come out to the shop?" I don't think at the time we were looking to hire.
No,
anybody
no,
else.
you weren't.
Yeah, I
it was,
remember
it was
the first time
it
we
was
showed up.
it was a few months, 2-3 months after
Yeah,
we that I started working.
yeah, because we got you to the tour. You came in, you met the guys, and I remember afterwards, everybody was kind of like, "Why we like that Will guy?" But at the time, I think we were looking at trying to hire somebody else who was had wanted a job, and we were already in discussions with them about the job. And so I had you on hold. And as soon as we finished things up and I officially offered the job to that other guy, he was like, "Yeah, you know what? Never mind." He changed his mind out of the blue, and I was like, "Then we're calling Will. Let's go."
I'm glad it worked out that way.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's the way.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah,
that
he missed
guy.
out. He runs a plant nursery now, or works for a plant nursery, so that can't be fun.
Yeah, that's probably
Depends on what you're growing.
It's like the
man. I've
like
been
the
loving
opposite.
working on my cactuses.
Yeah.
That is not related to
No,
this
it's not.
podcast at all.
You brought up plant nursery. It's cactuses are cool. I like growing shit. It's a worthy venture.
Cole does. Oh, go ahead.
So speaking of hiring new guys, Noah and I are both come from restaurants and the trades. We're both mechanics, and you kind of like have to have thick skin to work in most trades. Do your new hires have to like run the gauntlet of the current crew before they're allowed to be hired? Is that kind of
I
how
think it's
got to make
like,
sure that no
at even
softies are
level.
coming in?
It's fucking bad, and
Yeah.
It was
like,
easier
we're
than I
fucking hard on
expected.
each other.
It was easier than I expected, though. I expected to get a little bit of,
A hazing
kicked
and-
around. Cole does this thing where he asked me to smell the metal and see if it
Yeah.
was
See
100
what it
layer or
was,
50
yeah.
layer, but I've worked enough jobs to where I can smell it and tell that it's 50 layer.
That's true. I mean, Cole does sniff the steel. If you can't tell what it is from the outside,
You
he'll
can smell it.
he'll do a sniff check, and he's actually surprisingly accurate.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think
So
I
you could
saw
just
that
smell-
in one of your guys' reels before.
Yeah.
I was a little concerned by it, but
He smelled a
What are
lot
you
of
gonna
steel
do?
in his day. Let's just say that. But no, as far as new hires go, we're nice.
Fair
people
enough.
in general.
Absolutely.
It's not an easygoing environment. I mean, it's a rough environment to work in general. It's very
Oh, yeah.
hot. It's very dirty.
Yeah.
So, I think
demanding.
all it takes is one look at Cole, and most new hires can go, "I'm suitable for this or not," because Cole's a good representation. What a day at the forge looks like.
Yeah, it'll beat you up. That's for sure.
well, I actually. So I kind of wanted to ask. So obviously, we're all knife makers that are probably listening to this podcast, and a lot of you guys are as well. And we love everything about it. That most of us wouldn't do this if it wasn't something that we loved doing. That being said, every job kind of has its shitty spot. What would each one of you guys say is like your least favorite part of the job? If there is something, what maybe it's the heat or maybe it's the griminess. What is the negative aspect to the job that
You go first,
that
Will?
you always dread?
I think we'll all probably agree that grinding pattern, after we pattern the steel on the power hammer, it leaves anywhere from 16th up to maybe an 1/8 inch that you have to grind off. And that's it's not as bad with the angle grinder, but when you get it down to the 2x72, you probably only get through 3 or so billets in a 24 grit belt. And then you're replacing belts. I mean, we go through belts and just grind, and it's probably my least favorite.
It's also hard to do. I mean, you got to put a lot of pressure on that contact wheel to rip it, and it's all about speed. We don't want to take forever and just baby one billet. They got to stack, they got to get through, and so
Yeah, because we'll be doing like 25, 30 of these at a time, and that's happening.
So your arms
Yeah,
are just
pretty much.
aching.
And
by
we're
the
doing
end
that
of it.
several times a week, typically, at least once, typically twice. Though.
That and running the belts on the small contact wheel, the 2-inch wheel, you can go a lot faster, but it trashes a belt.
Yeah,
Like just shit coming off of
Oh,
it,
yeah.
and that breakover angle is just hard on them. So you get filthy and
you get covered in 24 grit belt basically
Yeah.
as it breaks
Yeah.
down.
but then you breathe it all in too if you're not wearing a mask,
Yeah.
because it all floats up in the air.
gets hot. You're alternating between soggy hands and burning hands.
Yeah,
It's just it's the worst job in the shop.
There'll be a 6-inch pile underneath where
Oh,
the
yeah.
grinder
oh yeah,
lands
just dust
after.
and stuff.
Under each grunt.
So that explains why the new guy was the one that was saying that he does
Oh,
that.
yeah.
the most.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that
we
what
make
I'm
all
hearing
the
from
new guys
this?
do
Yeah, the part timers and the new guys have to break in over there.
Like we're not really hazing, but there is kind of a hierarchy. It's like
Yeah.
I can go and tell Will, hey, go grind this, and then I don't have to. But
There's always a hierarchy. All right, so let's flip it around. What's the best part of the job then? Now that we've dealt with that, what's your favorite thing to do in the shop, or your favorite aspect of it? It doesn't have to be like a day in the work, but something that you get out of the
seeing
job.
the
that's
end
just,
result.
Yep.
What's
Like
that?
when the knives come back and we're allowed to open them and look at them.
Once he's cleaned his,
Every
once
once
they
in a while
wash
we're
their
allowed
hands,
Yeah.
At that, and then as far as forging goes, quench and mokame, just because it's
satisfying.
it's like a fire in reverse, which is one of the best parts of the job is all the fires.
Right, of course, we don't quench our steel, so they don't get to quench anything really other than the mokame, which to anneal you quench in water. And so, and it of course it goes from a red hot bar to a super highly colored patterned bar in a matter of just a few minutes in the water. And so, yeah, that's pretty cool to see.
It's super cool.
gorgeous.
But
Yeah.
Jay, what's your favorite?
badass, man.
Favorite thing, honestly, both answers are about the same. I mean, mokame in the shop is one of the coolest things, and seeing the final products, all the knives and stuff that people make, it's really, really cool.
Throwing firecrackers at each other.
Throwing firecrackers at each other, that's a lot of fun
Probably
too.
next
Yeah.
best.
I don't know how that started. They do that in the shop all
We
the
do
time.
that at work too.
Those little firecrackers with a short little fuse on them. They'll just light one and just throw it under a guy who's standing at a grinder and let it go off.
Yeah, that's something we do to new guys.
Yeah.
We do
Cole-
that to everyone.
Yeah,
That's
but
the
when
thing.
we get a new guy in, you go buy a giant ass bag full of fireworks.
That was
And then
just
there's like
because
a
I was
solid
out
week.
of I was out of firecrackers when we got the last new guy.
So we make sure we have lots of firecrackers when we have a new guy come in, and there's lots of those popping off throughout the day.
Don't worry, we don't work with sharp objects, so it's safe.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
You're all young enough to not worry about heart attacks. We actually do that at my job. I have a bowl of firecrackers that was
Good.
sitting on my toolbox, and somebody starts getting lippy or whatever, you just
Yep.
grab a firecracker,
Yep.
flick it over into their bay. Yeah.
What's your favorite part of the job? Oh, sorry.
We actually
I
had
was going to ask
a
Waylon what his favorite part is.
no, go
Because,
ahead.
Waylon, he's
Yes, let's
not
do this.
shop really related. So
when we get a new knife in, I
Oh,
get
it's
to
the same answer.
photograph it. I mean, I really like the videoing the knives. That's just a lot of fun. Some more than others. Shiny ones are a little harder.
Yeah, harder to photograph.
Any shiny material makes it a little bit harder, but it makes it a challenge, so I enjoy it.
So I guess to all the knife makers out there, we love seeing your work come back because we just see the raw steel go out, and so we don't make any final products. So we don't really get to see a lot of these cool patterns and stuff until we get knives back for photos or whatnot.
We make the coolest gray rectangles on earth.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we're doing a new billet, like we got something you were grinding the other day. We grind.
Yeah, it's new. That's
yeah.
Oh yeah. There's certain things we can't talk about new patterns.
But we'll grind in.
Rest assured,
every
they're
once
cool.
in a while.
Yeah, but seeing the
Well,
seeing the stuff.
It's like grinding the in cut
We believe
and
that.
etching pattern isn't the same as
Seeing a
Yeah,
product, it's absolutely not.
That's true. A finished knife is very rewarding to see, even though we have to ship it back to the customer.
That's the sad
most of
part.
the time. Yeah.
Most of the time.
Well, I mean, there's been a couple that have come in and haven't left.
That's true. If it was bought or gifted to us, yeah. Every once in a while that happens. So.
I mean, it's rare, but it happens.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, that actually kind of works into this. So I was going to ask. So last time when we had just Coy on the show, we were kind of asking him about the developing of the patterns, and he has his own little projects with the mosaics and stuff like that. But for production run layups and patterns, he mentioned that you guys tend to kind of collaborate and kind of figure out how you guys want to go about making a steel, and it's kind of like a group effort. It's not just something that comes out of his mind alone. Any one of you guys have anything as far as like there was like one particular steel where you had a hand in it and you were really super proud of like the way that it came out?
So we talked about this earlier a little bit. Because there's been some patterns that I'll come up with on a whiteboard here in the office. But more particularly back when the office was at the shop, we did do a good bit of pattern development together. And then from time to time now, they will come up with something in the shop as well, separate from me.
Like I think Firestorm was my idea, wasn't it?
It could have been. I don't remember, but I remember the names for Firestorm and then
We all
consecutively
bounced, yeah.
Ice Storm that came after that.
Yeah.
That was the brainchild of everybody.
Leave that new one. The one that really sticks out is last year's post Blade Show Hammer-In. I made a silver Gomai for Brennan, Yalhalla Forge. I made the billet. Josh ground the knife and he finished it. And I don't remember who made the leather for it, but he had somebody make the leather.
I don't remember, but Brennan from Yalhalla Forge came to the Hammer-In that we had after Blade Show. And of course, this isn't a production run.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a one-off billet. But yeah, after Blade Show last year, Brennan brought up a silver coin that he had rolled out. It was pure silver. And he and Cole primarily, forge welded that into a bar and into a Gomai bar. And we then realized just how different pure silver looks compared to nickel in a steel. It's so much whiter compared. It makes pure nickel look yellow. So that's kind of been on the back burner. I've always wanted to do a run of pure silver Gomai, a pure silver shim.
Tyrell is playing with it.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, Dennis Tyrell posted something the other day about he bought a big old sheet of pure nickel, or not pure nickel, pure silver for a project. But we've talked about doing a release of that. Just pure silver is kind of expensive, and so there was a price concern there. I'm not sure how many makers would be worth or be willing to fork over that much for a bar, but
and also,
yeah, we'd probably have to send you our own stashes. I collect silvers. It'd be like, well, if you provide the silver,
yeah. I mean, the only problem is rolling out the silver.
Send it into you.
Kind of a pain. It's easier to buy it in sheet and just cut it on the shear, I guess. But Other than, I mean,
Yeah.
The patterning dies.
patterning dies.
Yeah.
Oh, as far as actual patterns.
We kind of bounce back and forth trying
Yeah.
to design that.
That's true.
Bigger, smaller.
And we did like 3 of them all at once.
The ripple was probably the most recent example.
Yeah,
of that.
we did a ripple and we did a medium wide ladder.
Yeah.
And then we redid the chevron die partway through. We had an
Yeah.
original design on a die, and then we ended up modifying it at least once, if not twice.
Well, so we had the original die on blue.
Yeah.
And the small dies, and then we just got a bigger set. And I think more or less that pattern has remained consistent.
We
It's
changed
just-
the pattern a little bit dimensionally when we had them recut for the new hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's like we've been through like 3 sets of drawing dies but it's still the same chevrons.
Yeah, yeah. To the end user, they're not going to notice. It
No.
looks the same. We dimensionally changed it a little bit to help in our process, but yeah. So it's all a group effort.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of ideas just flow, and as stuff comes together, we try it out, and
Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't.
yeah, sometimes it doesn't ever see the light of day.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
plenty of those.
There are a couple of them one-on-ones that it worked only just, and
Yeah, there's a couple of times we did a test bar, and the test bar worked great, no problems. We put it into production, run a batch, and lose the whole batch, which is always gut wrenching.
Oh,
Lots of time and money down the drain on those, but it's part of the process. So.
no kidding.
What made you want to come out with a line of Makume? I was very happy when I saw that you did, and but was that always something you guys had on the back burner, and then you're like, fuck it,
I mean,
let's
we've-
just do a
we've done
run of
lot
Makume?
it. It just
Yeah, we've done a lot in the past. We've done several batches worth of it, some in triple alloy and some in double.
it just usually winds up being clad
It's just
in.
been a
It
while,
has
right?
been a while. Just because it's not something that sells super well. I mean, when we did this recent drop, it pretty much all sold out. We only got a bar or 2 left. But you know, it's not blade material. It's just bolster and guard and whatever. And so it's a little hard to. A lot of people, you know, if you're going to do a big guard, you need a freaking crazy big block, you know. And so it's kind of hard for us to make the material. I don't know. There's a weird sound. What was that?
Somebody's fireman.
Yeah, what is that?
There was a flood evacuation
okay.
in my area, but it's fine.
I was just making sure it wasn't here. Yeah, I mean, they love forging the Mokame because hot, that stuff forges like
Oh,
Play-Doh.
It's
Oh, it's so cool.
It's super fun and easy to move onto the power hammer, and of course they love quenching it. But yeah, we don't do a whole lot of it. We should
I
probably
feel like
do
we've
more.
done more Mokame as custom order stuff. Like someone would request
Yeah.
a piece sized, and we would make that for them. Which, honestly, expensive as that material is, it makes a lot more sense.
That is true. And back to what I was saying about the dimensions of some of the pieces that are normally made out of Mokame, like guards, they need a very specific size, and normally it's a weird looking size. So you're right. We do customs on that.
Gotcha.
But if the customers want it, we'll make more runs. People just got to send us messages and go, "Yo, we need more Mokame."
We'll make whatever you want, just you got to pay for it.
What are the dimensions you usually do on the Mokame billet?
It varies.
Is it like
That's just
you buy it by
So,
the inch, or
Let's see. Let's go off this last run.
we
We did.
sell them at volume wise.
Oh, we sell it by the cubic inch. So it's the length times the width times the thickness. And I don't know that pricing off the top of my head, but the most of that batch was 2.5 to 2 3/4 wide. They were pretty on the wider side. And then we just did a variety of thicknesses from like 3/8. No, we did some at like
No.
1/2 inch range.
Yeah, we did
Down to like 1/4 inch.
There was the
Yeah, there was
twist
some
bar.
sick boys in there.
There was a twist bar. Yeah, we did them all thicker because,
every different pattern.
right. And, they're not hard to grind down. It's soft material. And so if somebody wanted to make like an inlay, they could take a piece of 1/4 inch one and grind it thinner or hammer it out thinner because it's not hard to forge.
That's what I was gonna say because a lot of our stuff, like
Right.
We don't recommend forging or at least upsetting
For the steel.
our stuff. Yeah, anything with a core material, but the Mokame you can.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're gonna drop an ad in here real quick. So let's go.
Hustle and Grind podcast is sponsored by Phoenix Abrasives, your one-stop abrasive shop. When you go to phoenixabrasives.com, click the shop icon in the upper right-hand corner to find all the abrasives you'll ever need. Check out the Incinerator 36-grit ceramic belts, along with the Trizact Gator belts that the hosts of Hustle and Grind use every day. When you check out, use code HUSTLE10 for 10% off your entire order. Hustle and
Thanks,
Grind
Luke.
is sponsored by Maritime Knife Supply. Whether you're looking for steel, abrasives, handle material, forges, epoxy, or anything for making in general, Maritime Knife Supply has you covered. And in the US or Canada, they ship faster than the great Cobra chicken goosesses that their country is known for. Go to Maritime Knife Supply, and when you buy a 10-pack of belts, get 10% off. And tell them we sent you, eh?
Hey.
Hey,
Thanks, Luke.
thanks, Luke.
And don't forget, guys, we are also sponsored by Liquid IV. If you go on their website and use code HUSTLE10, you're going to get yourself 20% off your entire order. And we'll have more information about that later on. But go check those out. Stay hydrated in your shop while you're out there in the hot summer temperatures.
That's not a bad idea.
It was a
You
great
stay
idea.
healthy.
Such a good job, Noah.
Because I thought that was just for hangovers.
Oh, really?
You can use it for
Works
Well,
for
it is
everything.
just it works for hangovers, but it also works for anybody. I mean, if you're when I'm forging in my shop, it's 100 degrees outside right now, and I'm still forging. So, and I got a tiny little shop, and the heat just builds up in there like crazy. So, if I'm forging for I don't know an hour, I'll probably drink 5 bottles of water in that time. So, throwing a little Liquid IV in there always helps me not to get the post forge hangover, because I'm not an animal like you guys are and forge all day.
We might
so.
need some Liquid IV this
Yeah,
summer.
We go
Yeah,
through
I
a
mean,
lot of water.
yeah, I think the
drink a
company
lot
should
of
buy
water.
A lot of water, a lot of Gatorade.
All right, so we'll have to talk to the
Lemon
Hustle and
Delaware.
Grind guys after the show. Maybe they can hook us up.
maybe so.
We
We can
can.
hook you up with a promo code for
Hell
20%.
yeah. There you go.
They
off,
should
that's
pay you
for
double
sure.
for that ad.
We haven't recorded the ad for them yet. They're very specific. It's not like it is with like, Ameribraid or Phoenix where we could make up what we wanted and just drop it in. They sent us like a 2-page list. Like, this is what we want. Then we want a personal testimonial from both hosts. And like, you have to say these phrases. And I was like, oh shit,
Wow.
this is going to take some thought before we,
What do you think we are? Like a serious podcast? Like that's not
Oh
what we
my
do
God.
here. Come on.
have they
I mean,
seen our
just
numbers?
compared to the guy who read the ad in the beginning of the show, I mean, that you got to go up from there. So
Yeah. That's what,
I don't think we
Right.
can top that
I
one.
was starting to listen to
I don't
a
think so.
Hustle and Grind podcast one day. It just came on my my feed. And Coy was in the shop, and I heard Coy come through, and I thought he was talking to me.
I remember you walking up to me. and
Yeah,
being
I was so confused. I thought you were just talking.
I was trying to sell you a grinder.
Oh God,
That's funny.
Nice.
That's fantastic. All right, guys. Well, hey, speaking of tools, let's. I'm not calling anybody anything here. Don't go there. What's your favorite tool to run in the shop? You guys got a ton of them. Like they all
Power
look
hammer all
fun.
day.
Which
Yeah.
power hammer though? You got to specify.
The combi.
Bulgarian.
I was gonna say which one.
Yeah,
So they're referencing
combi.
the 145 Bulgarian power hammer, the self-contained air hammer, which is really kind of just our most or fully or.
It's the one we use the most.
Yeah.
But
it's,
the Bradley
it's
is a lot of
troubling
fun, too.
how
I honestly
we rely on it.
I honestly have fun with the Bradley, but it's not.
It don't
Quite,
move
it's
it.
not quite as efficient.
Nowhere near.
As of right now.
I like the Bradley because of the cool factor.
That's
It has the cool factor, but
But taking
it
a
just
bar-
don't move metal.
But
Yes, it
taking
does.
a slack in Damascus,
Not like the other.
No, not
Okay,
the
listen
same.
up.
Not
So
the same.
you've got these two here. They're featherweights. They're short and skinny.
Hey, we built a.
They don't have enough ass to put the treadle
You
far
need
enough
the
down.
lever too. You can't run it on just the pedal.
I can't if I stand all the way on it. We got to make some
That's
adjustments.
But it'll also punch you in the face.
It will.
Oh, this is great.
Somebody,
Charlie,
no last names.
Sorry.
Gun store Charlie.
Gun store Charlie. There you go.
Gun store Charlie hit himself in the face.
Yes, but okay. Overall, definitely, I think the Power Hammer is a unanimous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Waylon, what's your favorite tool in the
yeah.
shop?
Oh, his camera.
The camera.
The camera.
Gotta be.
It's a
What kind of
Sony
camera?
A7 IV.
Doesn't mean anything to us. We don't know.
Sounds
It's a full
expensive.
frame mirrorless camera.
I know that you got way. I wouldn't see
Full frame mirrorless. Wow.
Well, I mean,
okay.
and it shoots some really, really fine
It's
footage.
newer than the Bradley.
More than the Bradley?
Newer.
Oh, I think you said more.
No, newer. It's newer than the Bradley. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
The Bradley's like 100 years old.
about 120.
Yeah. Anyway, Power Hammer.
Waylon, what advice would you give to small makers, Waylon, when it comes to their social medias and like having photos that don't look like total dog shit?
Definitely, I would say take all the light is the thing that makes a photo so good. So you want to make sure your lighting's good, even if it's just moving it outside and then diffusing it just a little bit. You can buy a 5-in-1 reflector online for like $20, and it has a circle piece in the middle that acts as a diffuser. If you just prop that above your knife, take the photo outside, it'd look a lot better than indoor fluorescence or anything. So
Yeah, because you need the diffuser if you're going to go outside
yeah,
because the sunlight's just way too harsh.
you'll get a hot spot for sure. So.
And that's
Oh,
What-
yeah.
What did you say that was
5-in-1
again? A
reflect.
5-in-1 what?
So it will have a
Diffuser.
It'll have a gold side,
Reflector.
a silver side, and then if you flip it inside out, a black side and a white side.
like a transparent
You have
white.
one?
Yeah, yeah.
Show it.
It's packed
I mean,
away.
it's like you can,
Yeah, I mean, it's
you can
something
talk all day long.
you can get it on Amazon for cheap, but they make a big difference for anybody taking photos, with their iPhone or something.
It's one of these things. Then
Ah.
on
Okay.
the inside,
And-
it has this piece, and that lets light through, so it diffuses. So if you had this outside, you could diffuse your light onto the knife.
Oh, okay. I've
Very
noticed
cool.
in my shop, I have all
Yeah.
cheap Walmart LEDs for lighting in the shop. Makes
Yeah.
me look like I'm in a fucking UFO. So when I take pictures off my phone, I get these weird lines.
I would
in the
definitely move
picture.
outside and
Yeah,
use the
and it
daylight.
makes me mad.
And if you can do it in like a cloudy day, it's a lot better.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, we definitely don't have those around here. So I try and like go underneath my tree where it's kind of like you get like a little bit of filtered
Lower
light,
too.
but
You got to be careful
Still
with
not
trees.
always
If it's
the
got
best.
leaves on it, it's going to make it a green hue.
Yeah, and if it's shiny, yeah, you're definitely gonna get a green hue. One thing about taking it out in the sun though, without it being a cloudy day, sometimes you'll get a blue hue, and that's really hard to take out in editing. So
Oh, really?
yeah. Another thing I was talking to Will about one day is they make gimbals for your iPhone, and you can specifically make it track you. So if you set that up on a tripod in your shop and you're wanting to take like a reel for Instagram, you could make it track you and follow you around your shop.
Without having to hire a cameraman.
Yeah. I think that is a pretty helpful thing that people could use. So yeah.
I did
No
not know
kidding.
that. What are they called? A gimbal?
DJI?
DG.
DJI.
Yes.
Just a phone gimbal. Yeah.
and you get those on Amazon.
Mhm.
I bought one of those before I hired Whalen, and it just has a magnet sticks to your phone, and you can, it really stabilizes the video really well. But yeah, you can. It's got a tripod on the bottom. You can just set it on a table, and click the Track Me mode, and it just follows you around using the software through your phone, and so you can record video, and you can just move around your shop, and it freaking just follows you, and you can talk to it and all that stuff. So
You guys just blew my fucking mind.
yeah,
That's
they're not-
$65 bucks.
My mind was blown when
Wow.
we were talking about it the other day.
That's incredible. Wow, that's a huge piece of advice for all of our listeners. Thank you very much
They
for mentioning
also,
that. That is awesome.
Finally, somebody
There's
gets
also
value out of
a,
our show.
If you have an iPhone, there's an attachment. They have lavalier mics, so you could hook it up to your Lightning port, and then just have that attached to you. Then it transmits to your iPhone.
It's wireless, yeah, so you can get better audio.
Yeah, so you could walk anywhere in your shop and still be heard.
Oh.
See, I was thinking about getting one of those the other day because I got a whiteboard for my shop with the idea that I was going to use it for working out Damascus patterns and stuff. And so far, I haven't done that. What I've done is I've made a series of stupid reels about orcas
Yes.
and Perry the platypus. So it didn't really work out for its intended purpose, but I don't know. I'm having fun with it. So, excuse me. I'll have to look into that. So thank you for that as well. Here on this this podcast, we like to play a bunch of stupid games, and we have like some silly games that we play, like this or that. I figured that this was going to be too big of an audience to play that, but we do have a segment we like to call Fake News. Are you guys interested in playing a little bit of a guessing game with us?
Yeah.
All right. So how this works is I have 3 headlines that are written out here. And 2 of them, unfortunately, are completely real. They actually happened. But one of them is fake news. It is false. It is satire made up. And you guys get to pick which one it is. So I'm going to read all 3 out. And then you guys can discuss amongst
Take
yourselves.
C.
Yeah.
The
You
what
don't know
now?
about John Boy and Billy?
You know, isn't that test?
It's a national
No.
syndicate.
It's all around.
I don't know about it. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like
Anyway,
that. It's like
it is
that.
you take C or a win.
Yeah.
And so let's take C.
No, it's not. Yeah. But
I
yeah.
actually was listening one day. 2 people called in wrong to the one where you take C and you're a winner.
Called it. You're gonna have to explain the game, but we don't understand what you're
just
talking
cut
about.
all this shit. It's
Y'all edit. Y'all don't have an edit.
they told us that you were going to cut out the stupid shit. So-
No, I did not.
No, you did.
If we did that, we would
Oh,
cut
no.
out every single one of our episodes. Stupid shit
Yeah,
is all we do.
He definitely lied if that's the case.
All right, let's hear some headlines.
All right, so here we have. First headline reads, firefighters rescue man who cemented his head inside of a microwave.
What?
Next up, Florida man puts fake COVID-19 quarantine sign on his door to avoid arrest
I'd
warrant.
have done that.
That's real.
That's got to be real.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and lastly, Florida man opens bizarre theme park where visitors can experience, quote, life as an invasive
What was
species.
the first
the
one?
first one's the
Head in the microwave.
First one's
cemented.
fake. First one's fake.
Nah.
One's my
I feel
It's
like
too
that could
obvious,
happen though.
You can't.
How do you cement your head in the
You
microwave?
can't.
Well, you're trying to
cement your
kill
head in the
Do you want me to-
microwave.
Never
Yeah.
underestimate.
It's
The power
not
of an idiot.
U.S. news, is it? It's everywhere.
Well, the last.
Okay,
It could
I'm
be
pretty
anywhere.
sure I've seen a UK guy put his head in
Yeah,
the
I feel
microwave.
like
and
that's
You can put
conquered
your
it.
head in the microwave, but you're not
I'm
gonna.
pretty sure
Cement?
he cemented it.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so if we're going, if you've seen that headline, then
Idiot
what are we
knows
going
no
off?
bounds.
I'm thinking-
Then it's the last one.
Here, okay, guys. I don't want to lead you astray here, but I just need to let you know that I asked for these headlines to be sent in, and people on multiple of occasions
Bullshit
have
stories?
sent me a headline or a news story that they thought was real, and then when I researched it for
They're
the
all
show, it
bullshit.
turned out to be fake. So In other words, everything that you see on the internet is
second
not
one's
necessarily
definitely
true, as hard to believe
Yeah.
as that may be.
Yeah.
The COVID on the door.
Yeah, that's definitely real.
That's smart.
That is smart.
Yeah.
I like
That's-
that.
I'm stowing that one in the back pocket for
I'm
later.
doing that
Oh,
in my
dude,
door
like,
tonight.
Believe
I'm
me,
putting that on my
it's
door
like, if I'm about to
tonight.
get pulled over, it's like I'm gonna. I don't want to get you. It's happened a lot. God knows how many fucking drunk drivers got out of that.
Okay. So what was the third one? I've already forgotten.
Third one, invasive
Okay.
species theme park.
Real too.
Do you want me to read them all over again? I'll read them all out
All right,
again
let's
here.
read it again.
All right, so the first one was firefighters rescue man who cemented his head inside of a microwave. Florida man puts fake COVID-19 quarantine sign on his door to avoid arrest warrant. And Florida man opens bizarre theme park where visitors can experience, quote,
I'm
life
saying that
as an
one's fake.
invasive
I don't know.
species.
Honestly, I feel
First
like
one's
A
fake.
because like they're not
A.
gonna save him.
We can go
He
with
dies.
we can go with the concrete one.
You wanna go A?
I'm pretty sure I saw a
You don't
YouTube
have to
video
answer
of
the
it,
same thing.
but
Well,
I'm
No,
saying
let's
that's
go-
the thing is like firemen save. No,
yeah, I don't
no,
know.
you do you make it that
No,
far. I
yeah.
don't think
Yeah.
you're gonna get saved.
Yeah, I know enough fucks to know that they're gonna laugh.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay, we're going A.
Going A. Ryan, do you want to get in on this at all?
I agree that it's A because if you cemented your head into a microwave, how the fuck are you going to call the fire department?
Good point.
That's a fair point.
So
Don't
Okay.
let us down,
final
Noah.
answer. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm going to let you down because that one was real as the day is long.
Oh no!
Is it the COVID?
Oh, okay.
I should have
Yep,
gone with my
that's the
gut.
one,
You all led
man.
me astray.
Hey, you didn't have to vote the same as us.
Well, I mean, it was firemen save. It's like I don't. How the fuck do you come back from that?
The cement hadn't fully set up yet.
There's no way.
Still.
I don't know. Honestly, I think he left the door open and that's where his
Anywhere.
face was.
Oh, you got good point.
Well, and doesn't it take?
Wouldn't
Doesn't
you
concrete get
drown?
hotter as it sets?
Yeah, it'll burn you as it
Right.
sets.
Was the microwave on?
The microwave doesn't serve any purpose unless it's on.
Oh, I mean,
Unless it's just
other
a
than a
box to
basin.
hold it.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like the kind of person who decides to cement his head inside of a microwave, if the microwave was on when his head was in there, it probably would
roast
serve
his
its
brain
purpose.
cells.
Yeah.
All right.
I-
Oh for
I don't
one.
think it was
We
Through
lost.
the
Don't feel bad. I lose every episode. Literally, I think there's only been one that I won.
There was one actually not too long ago that Ryan
It was
actually got
Brigham.
correct.
Yeah, it was me and Brigham. We got all of them
Oh yeah,
right.
yeah. I always like when Brigham's on a podcast. I love listening to that guy.
How can
Brigham's
you
the
not?
man, and it's like him and I met Mareko Mumasi together, and he's like, "I'm Brigham," and he goes, "Brigham Kendall." I go, "He
Right.
fucking Mareko knows who you are." I'm like, Brigham.
Well,
What
because
the
he's
fuck?
talked about on so many shows. I don't know how, but he's weaseled his way into everybody's lives. He is so nice.
It's because
He's
he's so
annoying.
nice.
He is.
He's the
My
nicest
face-
guy I've ever met.
My face fit perfectly on his face on all those photoshopped images that I did,
Right.
or that I had my brother do for me. It was like he said it looked like him and I had a baby.
Oh,
Which is an uncomfortable thought, but it made sense.
those were funny.
It did.
Funny photos. At first, I fell for the first few. Then I started seeing more and more of them. I was like, wait a minute. That's not right.
No, I was talking to Brian House, and I was like, "Shit, I didn't get a picture with you and you and you." And I go, "Man, what a wasted opportunity." And he goes, "That's exactly what I was thinking." And I was like, "Oh, I'm a piece of shit. I gotta fix this." So I messaged my brother, and I was like, "Can you put my face from this photo in all these photos ridiculously?" He's like, "Yeah, no problem."
That's funny.
So like there was, and most of them were originally of Noah, so it said, "Hi, my name is Noah" on my shirt in the pictures. And then the ones I sent him with Brigham, he left Brigham's big old beard in there and just photoshopped my face into his beard.
Well,
and it fit perfect. I sleep on my brother's Photoshop skills. He's been doing like movie posters for us for our other podcast, and they're great. He did Karate Kid.
Oh, wow.
He did Terminator 2, Inner Space, because we had Honor Kaglar on from Dies in Every Film, and that was the film he requested.
It was almost as good as the
Oh,
picture of Pickle
that was
Pear.
a
I
fun
was
shot.
waiting for that
Those were
happened
fun.
twice.
Yeah, we did it once in Atlanta and then once in Florida at the
How
Foundry.
much did y'all drink?
Copious amounts were
Like,
consumed.
Yeah.
And of course, it's pickle, so there was some other stuff involved.
That's the. I was gonna say that's the kind of stuff that happens when they were sober.
There
You
were no
should have been
pictures
there for
taken.
when they were
I would
drinking.
have come to the house if I had
Or we.
been invited.
Well, yeah,
But, well, also I would have had to flown. So
yeah, celebrity A list there only. Sorry, man.
so
That
you know,
that picture of you and Pickle made its rounds. Todd Harrington's
saw
daughter
that.
did
He
a
sent that to
painting
me.
of it.
There's a paint.
you need to buy that.
Yeah.
Well,
Doesn't matter the cost.
Yes, you should buy it.
I don't think it was for sale, but it was actually pretty good. I mean, it's a
Everything's
young
Well, I
daughter,
mean, like
but yeah, it was good.
who earned it more than y'all?
Yeah. I mean, I could ask for a photocopy, I guess. I could print it out. It was pretty cool, though. It was
Go right up there next to that Baker Forge and Tool flag,
Right.
right in between that and the Gator Piss flag, right there.
that was pretty cool.
I had a
That's going to be the
Right on.
cover for our Hunks of Knife Making calendar.
Yeah.
That's going to be the cover.
Right. Nobody want to see that, though.
Brandon gets away.
All right. Well, speaking
Yes.
of Gator Piss, so you guys have obviously everybody knows what Gator Piss is. How the hell does Gator Piss fit into your guys' production? Like who goes down to Florida and milks the gators for all of this stuff that you bottle up?
Well,
I haven't been to Florida since we killed pigs.
it's true. We went pig hunting in Florida like 5 years ago.
And I haven't been back since. I came down with gators. You
Oh, I bet that was
I was
fun.
down there, but I didn't see any gators. So no. So let's see. Gator piss does not really fit in well. You're right. So normally when we're getting low on stock and we need to do a production run, Waylon and I will order in all the supplies, and Waylon and I will kind of prep all the boxes. So we'll get the labels put on the bottles. We'll get the seals in the caps. We'll get the bags prepped. We'll get all the zip ties prepped, boxes and whatnot, several days ahead of time. And then when it's time to actually do the mixing and bottling, we will close up the shop for the day. We'll bring the crew up here to the office and studio. And we just set up kind of an assembly line out the door into the parking lot.
We got to watch Power Tour drive by.
Oh, that was
That was
cool.
super
That was
cool.
very cool.
Yeah.
I
So
saw a GT40, a real Ford GT40. That was the high point of my.
So the last mix was last Friday, and they got all sorts of distracted with all these hot rods driving by. So yeah, that happened.
Guilty.
We weren't distracted.
You were distracted.
We,
were
mixed,
distracted as
we
hell.
mixed the piss.
And made signs. Honk if
You honk, we drink.
you honk.
That's true.
I think the people driving by were confused though because the sign was out there,
Yeah.
and then the next people they seen was sitting in the church parking lot. So
And I
We didn't
definitely
get
felt
along.
sick after drinking all that gator piss.
yeah, it was.
Anyway, back on topic. You guys derail
You
conversations.
said
like
you
crazy.
wanted fucking bullshit conversation.
I said they want bullshit conversation. Yeah, so we just mix it all in a day and do a
Yeah.
big batch run. And then they go back to foraging, and
How many bottles do we do?
we do about
300?
300 gallons per run. And that'll last us a little while. Then when we start getting low
Damn.
again, we'll do it all over. We'll restock. And so we try to take away from the foraging as little as possible. So we cram it all into just one day to have the shop guys up here, and Waylon and I prep the rest of it. So
Honestly, it works out pretty good.
Yeah,
That's it.
it's a nice easy day.
yeah, it's compared to forage and steel, it's not.
It's,
As labor
it's a
intensive.
cakewalk.
Yeah, we normally try to do it on a Friday, so kind of have an earlier day on Friday, leads into the weekend. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. You must have got it down to a science because it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's cheaper than
I
ferric
guess
because a
it's
gallon is like, I can't remember what I saw. I
Yeah.
think it was like 50,
For-
$60
Pure.
for a gallon.
I don't know.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, I don't
But you're
really know.
diluting the ferric.
Yeah, if you buy
Like,
ferric.
I mean,
'Cause you're buying
no, we're
ferric-
concentrating it. We're
No,
concentrating
but
everything.
people that
it's
people
higher
that
concentration.
buy ferric are then diluting,
yeah, well,
right?
I mean, I guess it depends. Some people don't. Some people
Some
don't.
of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it strong because I do a lot of black etches. And so my ferric is like 50-50 ferric and white vinegar.
You need to buy some
I
Gator.
have no patience. I just
Fucking
use
don't
pure
forget.
ferric.
Yeah. I do.
You don't have.
I do need some gator piss. I do 50 of these little cleavers at a time. So it's like, I need like 5 gallons of it.
I've got
to
5
make enough,
gallons.
so I'm sure you do. I want some bad. It just it looks like such less mess. Ferric is nasty. You get it on your hands and it doesn't wash off and it stinks and
Right.
it's just gross shit. Gator piss seems like a much more
It's clean.
logical
And
option.
it's
It
clear enough where
works.
you can see it happening
clean and-
while it's happening, which is, I think, cool.
The being able
Yes.
to stick it in there and watch it's just
Yeah, because at Blade Show, this reminds me, we did when Josh Weston was doing the Blade Show knife that he does every year. Are you familiar with this? That happens. Okay. So
Yeah.
he contacted me ahead of time and wanted to etch the knife in gator piss during the etch for the build. And so we went outside the building, out in the sort of the parking lot area, poured the gator piss into a thermos, like somebody's thermos. It was a Maritime Knife Supply water thermos, because that's all a container that we could find that was big enough to get the blade in. And when we put the knife in there, and the gator piss makes it start popping just right away. And Josh Weston was freaking out. He's like, I've never seen a knife go that fast, that quickly.
and who do you have to thank for bringing that piss? Because you forgot it.
That's true.
You forgot it.
I did forget to bring it to the Blade Show, and we were a day early. And Cole and Josh.
Primitive woodsman.
I didn't even realize
I'm
that.
going to make my plug right
That's
now.
funny.
Ever on. I went from carrying an 18-inch knife to this.
the audio listeners cannot see you.
It's a Primitive Woodsman BC Bushcraft. Go buy it.
Well,
Okay.
Where do they buy it?
okay. Well, I'm gonna let everybody plug all their own shit here in just a second before we get off here. We're almost to the end of the show, and then we'll do a quick after show after this. But yeah, I love hearing about the gator piss. I use it for all the Damascus that I make, and it's just the thing that I love about it is that it's consistent. And it's fairly gentle because I'll have some ferric etches. If you don't get the mixture quite right, it's doing one thing to one type of steel and another thing to the other steel that you got in there. And one of the biggest problems with etching Damascus, at least in my experience, limited that though it may be, is getting these black smudge marks, because I really like bold patterns. So you get those black smudge marks on the 15 and 20 when you're etching that Damascus steel, and that gator piss just leaves that 15 and 20 bright and shiny clean, and it gives that nice, deep, consistent, and very high contrast etch. I haven't mixed up coffee since I bought it, so I freaking love it, and I know everybody else does, so it's super cool that you guys are taking a whole day off of forging. I'm sure that actually does somewhat hurt your production to be able to, to have to take a whole day out of your production to put that out there. So
we've
I know
gotten around
everybody
to working it in to
We
where
make enough to where
we're ahead of time.
It's about once a month, right?
Yeah.
Or once every month and a
Maybe
half,
two.
maybe.
No,
well, so I wasn't there for the last one.
yeah, you skipped one. I mean, you were out. You were down in Wilkesboro, weren't you?
Then I've missed
No.
two.
Oh,
No, he
No,
was
the
in the
last
shop.
time
Him
I
and
was
Kyle were
back,
fixing
you were fixing the
Yeah.
machine. That's
the
right.
machine.
You missed one.
y'all didn't do it Did y'all do it while I was in Wilkesboro?
No, we didn't. No,
We
it
did
was
it right
you
now.
were fixing the machine. Jay and I bumped it all.
Anyway. We got more stuff coming out on the Gator Piss line of
Anyways.
things soon. We've got some new stuff in development there that not quite ready to announce to the public, but it's exciting. Hopefully before winter, we're going to have some really cool stuff coming out that's going to pair well with the Gator Piss etchant in that line. So
Fantastic.
Like a gator
I
piss
can't say.
neutralizer.
maybe.
Oh, because that
Damn
that
it,
would
Ryan.
be cool. It'd be better than Windex. That's for sure. I want some gator piss bad. I just have to go through the stupid amount of ferric that I have now, or else I'll feel like
We
I'm
can
a
have
waste.
both. I mean,
I mean,
We have
I have
both.
both.
We have both in the
I could
shop.
have
We have
both,
we
yeah.
have tubes of
That's
vari-
true.
various
so
various things.
technically all the piss in the shop belongs to Josh.
Oh, okay.
oh, that's right. Yeah.
We owe him more than that half gallon we give him.
We probably need to refresh his supply.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, no, he
So I have my gator piss in one container, and then I have a very strong ferric mix that I call the blackening, and I use that for my
How racist of you.
like it.
Just kidding.
What?
Oh, don't.
No, it's for blackening blades. Why would you even think that? Son of a bitch!
I have
I didn't even think about that. Maybe I shouldn't call it that.
Not public.
Don't feel bad,
I
Noah.
like the name.
Remember, somebody called Brian
Yeah,
House a
yeah.
Nazi because he had lightning bolts on his fucking.
Oh, yeah.
The door ovens.
Yeah. So
I'm not.
Oh my gosh! All right, guys. Well, before this gets more out of hand, I mean, we can get out of hand in the after show. So I just want to go around real quick to all of you guys here, give you guys a chance, because I know a lot of you guys are actually knife makers, aside from working at Baker Forge and Tool. So where can we, if you have your own social media or if whatever you want to plug here at the end of the show, let's just go ahead and go around and let everybody know where they can find you if they wanted to follow each one of you guys as individually. Coy, obviously you just run Baker Forge and Tool on Instagram, Baker Forge on YouTube. Is there anything
Baker
else you have
Forge
out
and
there?
Tool on Facebook, Baker Forge and Tool on TikTok,
Twitter.
and we just started a tweeter, so we're Twitterwing out there. And then
Baker
we've got the Baker
Studio.
Forge Studios page on Instagram, Gator Piss page on Instagram. I actually have a personal Instagram as well. It's called the Bearded Steel Wizard. So that one's me, just me, not the company page, because the company page is accessible by 3 or 4 different people now, and so and a lot of business is done through there. So I actually have a personal one that's separate from that. Yeah, I guess Will.
I have jackdogknives.com, jackdogknives at Instagram. I'm bad on Instagram. I need to get better. I'm going to get talk to Waylon at some point about helping me with that. But that's it. Jackdog Knives.
We tag Jack Dog Knives in the reels as well, so you can pull him up from there.
Yeah.
So, and then Cole is incognito on
My
Instagram.
account
Very
looks
cool.
like a
And
spam
Cole?
account. If you find me and you're cool, I might follow you back. Buy Primitive Woodsman knives.
There you go.
He's the best knife maker I've ever met.
So he's talking about Josh Morgan, Primitive
Yeah.
Woodsman Knives.
Oh.
He shares a shop space with us right now. So Primitive Woodsman is separate of Baker Forge, but he runs in the same shop. That's who he's talking about.
Gotcha.
Great guy.
Is he like a best friend or
Yeah.
something to
Great
be
guy.
getting this kind of
He's-
shout out? Or
he's-
like
he
what?
probably
man?
is my best friend.
And he makes knives with our steel too.
Occasionally.
Occasionally, his sorry,
Oh, he
his
does-
line is mostly
He does some
Yeah,
really
he's-
clean
yeah.
work.
yeah. So he also worked
So
at
he's a
Winkler
great
Knives.
knife maker, but he's a fantastic knife designer,
Mhm.
which a lot of them aren't.
Yeah, so he worked
Just
at
saying.
Winkler Knives.
Yeah,
And-
there's a lot of former Winklers. Me, him, Kyle.
Kyle. Yeah, and then Josh also works a lot with Jason Knight. So you'll see some influence there because they work together all the time on all kinds of stuff. So then Jay, shout yourself out.
I don't really do Instagram.
All right. Well, Jay doesn't do Instagram. He's incognito. You got an account.
Yeah, I have an account.
Yeah,
I don't even remember what the handle is.
You
though.
show some.
I have
behind the
absolutely
scenes.
zero posts.
I know. You look like
Oh, I look
It's
like a
Jay
spam.
Baker
I
on
look like a
Instagram.
spam
It's
account.
yeah.
Oh, it is just Jay Baker.
Yeah.
151. I knew there was something else after it.
Yeah, so Jay does from time to time post kind of behind the scenes stuff,
Yeah.
just shot from his phone about what is going on.
Yeah.
It's rare, but it happens.
I do it whenever I feel like it, which is borderline never. But every once in a while I get a bug and I do it.
Usually big flames and stuff, though.
Yeah, mostly when we're setting random stuff on fire.
All right, Waylon.
Yeah, my Instagram's Mark Waylon Hageman. I do a lot of car photography mainly, so
Who would have thought the videographer and photographer does photos on the side as his own hobby?
It burned him up not being able to photograph.
Wow,
on
I'm
cars.
shocked.
yeah. When the power tour came by, I was hurting a little bit. But
Very cool, guys. Well, thank you all so very much for joining us. I really appreciate you guys taking time after your, I'm sure, a long, hot, hard day of work to chat with us and BS around. We're going to go ahead and swing over to an after show. If you are a patron of the Hustle and Grind podcast, you'll be able to listen to that. If it's something that you feel like you want to listen to and you're not a patron, you go to patreon.com/hustleandgrind, where for as little as $1 a month, you can become a patron. Unfortunately, someone will die, but you probably don't know them, so that's okay, and you'll get great content in return. So thank you all very much to all of our patrons. We appreciate you. We love you. We're surprised that you're still there after the last couple of after shows, but thank you anyways. We really appreciate that. Ryan, you got anything else to close us out?
No, that was fun.
Yeah, thanks for
I
having us.
appreciate you guys coming on
Good.
Yeah, it's
for sure.
it's fun.
Hopefully the audio is good. There's a lot of voices talking over one mic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
We'll find out really soon. So, but all right, guys, I'm gonna play us out. It was
see ya.
see you all on the after show.
Have a good week.
Bye.